Hello Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Welcome to your tarot reading here at the Intuitive Teacup. We are going to talk about love, dating, romance, things of that nature. Please come into this reading with an open heart and an open mind, a desire to learn something or better yourself. If the messages that come through for you don't resonate, feel free to push them aside. They may resonate for you at a later date, so you may want to revisit the messages. Above all else, please trust your own intuition, your inner guidance system. That being said, let's try and get you some helpful, insightful messages here today. And do remember you are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. All right, that's my spiel. Let's tap into Virgo's energy here. Ooh, Six of Wands. Look how happy that Six of Wands is too. Something to celebrate. All right, so I like to start in the middle here. So Queen of Pentacles to the Six of Pentacles to the King of Wands. So it's possible that this earthy Pentacle Queen is representing some of my Virgos out there, male or female. And then you have the King of Wands here, right? So the King of Wands is very charismatic, very warm, very generous, very passionate, possibly very sexual, right? Kind of commands the attention of the room. Someone who comes into the room very bold and fiery and lit up, right? And between that is the Six of Pentacles, which indicates a relationship where there's great reciprocity. Interestingly enough, the Six of Pentacles does depict a child. So something about this relationship may involve a Libra child, or it just could involve a Libra in general. I'm saying that because the scales are depicted right here. The Six of Pentacles is about reciprocity. It's about equilibrium and a balanced relationship. So that just might be indicating that, there's a suitor out there who brings a lot to the table, and vice versa, sees you in like a similar fashion or a similar light of having all these great qualities that they desire in a mate. With the Six of Wands and the Six of Pentacles, sixes are about victories. They're about milestones. It's, about getting over obstacles, which are typically the fives. I don't think you have any fives here. So you may have recently gone through some sort of struggle or change or obstacle, but it seems like you're in the clear now, at least for the coming few months, right? And maybe this person is going to be sort of the reward after some sort of struggle or difficulty, or it doesn't have to be that, but just something you had to move through, essentially. It could also be saying that this is the person who helped get you through, right? For some who are already coupled up. I like this energy so far. That seems really good. I mean, the Six of Wands very infrequently shows an actual wedding, and here it does. So that may be significant to some of you. It could be that you're planning a wedding with your person. Could also be somebody in your life, in your network, celebrating a wedding or some sort of like formal occasion, an anniversary, a birthday. But it's something that has sort of a romantic flair to it, like a romantic vibe. And it's possible some of you could meet your future person at a wedding. So so make sure you always accept the invite when you get one, right? You never know who you're going to meet. Sometimes you got to let fate and destiny take a hold and introduce new people into your life. So then let's see, we have a Ten of Pentacles card into the Three of Swords. So there may be a little bit of frustration or challenges with family right now. And obviously that won't be for all of you. I'm trying to understand a little bit more of this storyline here. Let's see. Yeah, I almost get this message as feeling like you found family in your spouse or in your new partner, or, possibly a dating prospect. You can picture them as like a long-term partner, someone who you may want to build a future with, especially if you come from a family where there were struggles and challenges. That's actually very common, or so I've read anyway. For Virgo children, there tends to be a lot of strain and struggle in the childhood of most Virgos, and there's sort of that reaction to learning to serve others when sometimes you have to redirect it back to yourself later in life and remember that you're just as important too, right? You can't pour from an empty cup. So with that, it feels like a lot of you have found a partner that they feel like family, but they also treat you the way you deserve to be treated. And with that, there's this kind of embracing of sort of all these beautiful qualities and what you bring to the table, and rightfully so, kind of taking some time to acknowledge that, and also sort of how far you've come from a past narrative. It could be that some of you were previously married and it was just a very unhealthy or toxic relationship, or it became that. And it could even be someone who you potentially had children with in another marriage. Obviously, that's not for everyone, but there is a strong link to children and family here. So whether you have, your own family with a spouse or partner, or it's just, I don't know, something about I'm hearing recollection. looking back on memories of your own past and childhood and how that's playing a factor in your romantic life and dating, that may sort of open up the door to have some light bulb moments or some epiphanies about your personal growth and personal development. For some of you who are on the cusp of Leo, if you're a Leo Virgo cusper, I do feel like there's an earth sign coming into your life that could be a very good match. So a fellow Virgo, perhaps a Taurus or a Capricorn. And then we also have to talk about this King of Cups too. So let's see. So there's a couple messages here. The first one that strikes me is, again, maybe getting out of a relationship with someone who was emotionally not present with you, or emotionally selfish or emotionally manipulative. And at one point in time, you had seen them in obviously a different light. You wouldn't have gotten involved with this person to had you know that what it was going to evolve into. And there's no reason to feel like shame or guilt regarding that. It just, you kind of look back and you're like, oh, well, that was. I'm sort of getting the idea that you're able to laugh at yourself now because it's not as fresh as a wound as it used to be. I'm sort of getting this idea like, oh, well, that was a mess. That was a disaster. But I think with that, the universe is sort of winking at me in terms of like Virgos come a long way and they can look back and realize their mistakes and maybe what they're more apt to look for in a partner now that they were blind to before, or having better boundaries or being more upfront with what they need and what they want in a relationship. So yeah, I do see sort of a self-serving energy in a negative way in terms of someone who just wasn't able to show up for you the way you needed. But I also see a self-serving energy of empowerment that's very like, I come first and like I have to prioritize myself, my emotions, my mental health before I can, fully participate in a relationship where someone expects this balance and equality from me. But the thing is, a lot of you, this feels like you're, I want to be careful how I phrase it, because it's never like we truly accomplish everything that needs to be accomplished and we're perfect and we're great and we stop growing and changing. Obviously, you guys know that, right? But with that, it seems like you've overcome, or I'm going to say this way. Yes, you've overcome some challenges, but there's big cards of milestones and coming into your own in this reading. And so it's setting you up for success in terms of finding someone who is in alignment with your viewpoint and your desires and your future and your long-term goals and plans. You have the wish fulfillment card here as well. So I take a couple messages from that. Someone who you once viewed as your wish fulfillment, you've had a change of heart because they kind of let their true colors show. And it's almost, I'm getting the idea of like the taste bud, the taste palette. It's like, ooh, that just, it's not going down right. Like it's almost like I don't want to swallow their bullshit anymore. Some of you, it's like you've had, the rose-tinted glasses have fallen off regarding someone in your romantic life who I think you were really trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but you really see who they are now. And so there's this breakaway. And with that, the universe is almost like congratulating you because you're acting out of self-love. It's not at all selfish in the negative term. It's not ego-based. It's like, hey, this person doesn't support me in my path. This relationship isn't helping either of us grow or thrive. It's causing more chaos and conflict. So I see a breaking off from that, and it's setting you up like perfectly. I'm getting sort of this metaphor of like, I'm getting like sports metaphors. It's like, I don't know, like in soccer, it's like you have your person who passes you the ball and it's like a direct line to the goal. Like it's setting you up for this big moment of like, and here's the big one, right? So for some of you, you may have a new water sign coming in, a Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. There may be a Taurus that you're disconnecting from. That's just for a few of you. But there also might be a new one in the mix too. Remember, there's definitely multiple people involved in this reading because I'm reading for Virgo in general, right? So they're not all going to resonate with you, but hopefully pieces and parts of this will and give you some sort of insight that you need. I definitely see a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius who views you as their long-term wish fulfillment and puts you up on a pedestal and, wishes and desires to build a future with you. Even if they give you the impression that they're a little bit fearful of commitment, it's self-preservation, it's protection because they don't want to get hurt and they don't like being vulnerable and they don't love putting themselves on the line. But it's sort of an interesting message because they do anyway. I think especially for you, it's like they almost feel like you're the one that they're willing to take a risk on. And I'm saying again, because I feel like they could have approached you in the past, but also I almost get the impression that this person has a few scars, right? A few battle wounds from relationships of the past where they too kind of put themselves out there and sort of felt like, they got used and abused or taken or something where they weren't treated with, the right amount of respect. And I don't know, like blurred boundaries, something like that. So they have a few wounds from their ex. I don't think they're carrying it around in a negative way. Like I think they've cleared out the closet, but with that they're a little bit gun shy to like put their heart on the line again, as most people would be. I get that, but it's almost like they see you, Virgo, and they're willing to roll the dice on it. They see huge potential in you and you guys being together. And the thing is, I do see that building if you want it to. For some of you Virgos, you sort of have options, and so you're trying to sort of, I'm hearing the word streamlined. That's really interesting. I don't typically use that word, but it just kind of came out. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess I take that to mean you have decisions and options to make. So you're trying to make the most like well-informed decision and, you know, spend time with the different people and see, you know, who lights your fire essentially. Who do you jive with the best and, you know, who shares that vision and that goal for the future? And how can you serve each other? I think that's really important to ask, you know, not to every zodiac sign, but particularly to Virgo. Yeah, I'm sort of getting the idea of elimination or editing or needing to go back to the drawing board and make some sort of decision. And that may resonate for you in like in a career situation too. Some of you may be deciding between jobs or bosses or hiring employees of like, there's definitely like people in the running for your attention or for your time, your energy, your, you know, whatever you bring to the table. And it's no matter what the situation is, I think you're being asked like, to look at it in context of, is this who you want to build a quote unquote family with? And that might mean something different to all of you. I'm not saying that has to involve kids or that has to involve, you know, the white picket fence but whatever family means to you, what speaks to you in your heart and your future. That's sort of what you're being asked to look at in terms of short-term, I'm hearing words like fulfillment or ecstasy or short-term pleasure, right? Don't get too wrapped up in sort of the package it comes in. Make sure there's substance to it, right? Like check and see what's underneath, right? Not just sort of, you know, I think it's important to ask like who's behind the pretty face. That's sort of what I'm getting at. One or both of you may have children from another marriage. And again, that's just a message coming through confirmations for some of you. It certainly doesn't have to. But I don't know. I really like this storyline coming through. And some of you may sort of be in that place we talked about earlier of on the brink of divorce or getting out of something that you view as unhealthy or toxic. And the thing is, it will be sweet relief to be able to like, you know, get rid of that burden in your life. So for those who are in a relationship currently and you're hearing that message, it's not a spooky message of, oh my God, is my person breaking up with me? No, like you would know if that's your storyline. There may actually be a significant age difference too in a relationship from your past. For most of you, I'm getting the idea that you were with someone who was much, much, much older, which is neither here nor there other than the cards are sort of indicating to me that now you're more mature and more grown up and you have a different perspective on things. You almost feel like you look at it differently now. You see it through new eyes. And I think some of you feel like maybe you were taken advantage of a little bit or that this person was like almost like condescending because maybe they were older than you. There's always this tinge of like inferiority either in your mind or they treated you a little bit less than. Again, just little confirmations. I'm not sure why that's coming through. But I do think it's encouraging and welcoming you to have an open mind and be willing and open to changing your opinion about things and people, including yourself. Just because there was something you wanted years ago doesn't mean that your heart is in the same place. You know, you might be a completely different person now. So it's okay to want and desire new things and new qualities in a person. And I think the universe is saying, absolutely, go for it. All right, Virgo, that's what I got for you. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, guys.